يوم الدين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبعد. Inshallah, tonight we will be doing the Tafseer of Surah Al-Ma'un. And Surah Al-Ma'un is a Meccan Surah. And a Meccan Surah was primarily focused on establishing the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and developing the morals and the character and the behavior of the people. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he started off by saying, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Right? أَرَأَيْتَ means, have you seen? It's also inform me. So if there's a rhetorical question, right? It's a rhetorical question. Have you seen the one who rejects a deen? A deen, we know that it can mean that religion as a whole. We know that it can mean that the Maliki Yawmuddin, the Day of Judgment, and these different types of things, right? Or the religion, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing who is it that the person that rejects the religion or Islam as his way of life, who doesn't believe in the Day of Judgment, right? His actions aren't demonstrative of his belief in the hereafter. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ. He is the one who repulses the orphan, right? Da'a yad'u is like he pushes him away. He pushes away the orphan. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And not only does he push away the orphan, meaning he himself is not a source of benefit to the orphans, he doesn't encourage other people of helping others either, right? He doesn't encourage other people to help the orphan as well. And this is similar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning in Surah Fajr, where he said, كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ وَلَا تَحَاضُّونَ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. That nay, but you do not treat the orphans with kindness and generosity, and you do not urge one another to feeding of the ones that are in need. Meaning the poor man who has nothing to sustain him and suffice his needs. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, after mentioning the negligence that they have towards their fellow human being, or fellow creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. So woe unto those performers of salah, those who with their salah are sahun. Right? Sahun means they're negligent of their salah. Right? They do pray salah, but they're negligent of their salah. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, this means the hypocrites who pray in public but do not pray in private. So in another interpretation of this is that they are those people who pray and adhere to their prayer, yet they are mindless of it. Right? The salah becomes ritualistic for them. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the responsibilities and obligations that they owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This may either be referring to its act entirely, as Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, or it may be referring to performing it in its stipulated time that has been legislated Islamically. This means that the person prays it completely outside of its time, and this was said by some of the scholars as well, that he prays the salah, right? But either he doesn't know what he's saying, or he's completely thinking about other things, or he prays the salah, but not at its proper appointed time. He neglects or delays the salah beyond its time. Right? On salatihim sahun, with their salah they are sahun, and he did not say those who are absent-minded in their prayer. It could also mean that the first time of the prayer, which means they always delay it until the end of its time, or they usually do so. It may also refer to them not fulfilling its pillars and conditions and in the required manner. Like someone may pray salah, okay? But this ayah is warning the people who pray salah, but they don't make sure that their wudu is proper. They don't make sure that their tahara is proper. They don't make sure that they are praying their salah properly, right? They say this is how we were taught, we're not going to make any effort to improve, and they just pray however they think fit, not how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to pray it. It could also mean that they do not perform it with its humility and contemplation of its meanings. The wording of the ayah comprises all of these meanings. However, whoever has any characteristic of this that we have mentioned, then a portion of this ayah applies to him. So we need to make sure that we are aware of what we're saying. It's an obligation. And we need to make sure that we're praying it on time. And we need to make sure that we are fulfilling the pillars and the conditions, right? The prerequisites and the prayer itself. And this is not referring to us making mistakes in salah. Because sometimes we make mistakes in salah, and even the Prophet ﷺ, he made mistakes in salah and he showed us how to make up for those mistakes, such as sahu and things like that. But this is someone who doesn't care about their salah. They'll just fulfill it as an obligation, but the salah doesn't have any deeper meaning in their life. And there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where one time he was sitting and he said, تِلْكَ صَلَاةُ الْمُنَافِقِ تِلْكَ صَلَاةُ الْمُنَافِقِ تِلْكَ صَلَاةُ الْمُنَافِقِ يَجْلِسُ يَرْقُبُ الشَّمْسِ حتى إذا كانت بين قرني الشيطان قام فنقر أربعا لا يذكر الله فيها إلا قليلا. This prayer is the prayer of the hypocrite. This is the prayer of the hypocrite. This is the prayer of the hypocrite. He sits watching the sun until it is between the two horns of shaitan. Then he stands and pecks 4 rak'ahs, and he does not remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in them except for very little. So the Prophet ﷺ here is mentioning about the person, the hypocrites. Did the hypocrites pray? Yes. But how did they pray? This is how they prayed. They would wait. They knew that the Asr time was there. They had the ability to pray. But what they do? They wait to the last time, and then quickly they pray 4, and he describes like a pecking of a chicken, and then they say they fulfill their responsibility. This hadith is describing the end of the time for the Asr prayer, which is the middle prayer as is confirmed by a text hadith. This is a time in which it is disliked to pray. Then this person stands to pray, pecking in it like the pecking of a crow. He does not have tranquility or humility in it at all. And this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that about the munafiqun. And the munafiqun, he said, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. The hypocrites, indeed the hypocrites, they seek to deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it is He who deceives them. And when they stand up with laziness and to be seen of men, they do not remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except for a little. So what they do is, they think that, okay, they're going to pray. They think, oh, we're fulfilling the responsibility of prayer, so Allah won't hold us responsible or accountable for this. But why do they pray? Right? When they pray, they're very lazy, or they pray to be seen by men, and they don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their salah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Imam Ahmad recorded the hadith where Amr ibn Murrah said that we were sitting with Abu Ubaidah when the people mentioned showing off. A man known as Abu Yazid said, I heard Abdullah ibn Amr saying that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من سمع الناس بعمله سمع الله به سامع خلقه وحقره وصغره. Whoever tries to make the people hear of his actions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who hears his creation, will hear it and make him despised and degraded among the creation, right? So whoever does something in private, and he's supposed to do that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he wants people to know about it. His satisfaction, instead of seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's in the people approving, praising, right? Honoring, glorifying. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hear it and He'll make that a source of degradation. Instead of elevating the person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the source of humiliation for the person. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all sincerity. Ameen. And then what do they do? The last thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. And they withhold al-ma'un. Ma'un are common courtesy, right? And Ibn Kathir rahimahullah commenting on this, he said, this means that they do not worship their Lord well, nor do they treat His creation well. They do not even lend that which others may benefit from and be helped by, even though the object will remain intact and be returned to them. These people are even stingier when it comes to giving zakat and different types of charity that brings one closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu was asked about al-ma'un. How do we define al-ma'un? What are common courtesies? At his time, he said, it is what the people give to each other, like an axe, a pot, a bucket, and similar items that you have and your neighbor needs just to help them out. The people who withhold these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing them as the people who have denied the religion, right? Or denied the Day of Judgment. So what are their characteristics again? What do they do? Who are the people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing in this surah as those that deny the Day of Judgment or have denied the religion? First thing, they don't help the orphans. What else do they do? Or don't they do? They don't encourage other people to help those that are in need. So those are the rights of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And there's one more that comes from the rights at the end of the surah. What else? Do they pray salah?
No.
They do pray salah. But how do they pray salah?
They're
unmindful, in a very lazy manner. Okay? What else? Or they pray salah to do what? to be seen, to show off. And وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they deny common courtesies. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us among the people that believe in Him and fulfill the responsibilities that we owe to Him and to our fellow creation. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for any of our negligence. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide all of our affairs. SubhanAllah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullah khair.